welcome to my guide on what glasses suit people with ginger hair. I'm Dan the Eyewear Stylist, a qualified optician and trained personal stylist with my studio based in MediaCity, Manchester. Now today I'm going to give you some tips on what glasses are going to suit you if you have ginger hair. Now the first thing you can think is, should I match the glasses to my hair? I would say not necessarily. That can actually wash you out. It's called eyewear for a reason, and that's because we want to enhance your natural features and your eyes. However, things like our hair are going to influence that. Think about how many people you know with different colours of hair. Whether it's someone who's a brunette, how often do they have brown eyes? Whether someone who's blonde, how often do they have blue eyes? Now, with yourself being ginger, do you have hazel eyes? You may do, you may not. However, there are certain things that tend to be more occurrent than others, which is why I'm going to give you this general guide on what glasses suit people with ginger hair. Now, people with ginger hair, you generally have a slightly lighter skin tone as well, maybe a few freckles dotted around, that sort of thing. Now, why I'm talking about that and how it affects your skin tone is because our skin tone can really affect what colours are going to suit us, which is why at the Eyewear Stylist I generally recommend a colour analysis for my clients. This is a personal styling technique which you could see your own local personal stylist in your area to do a colour analysis to work out which range of colours are going to be the most flattering for you and give you the most youthful, radiant looking skin. When we choose the right colours, especially the closer it is to our face, the bigger a difference it makes to our complexion and how we look. With eyewear being on our face, it's obviously going to make a huge difference. So I tend to find if you're thinking, I might get that colour analysis, but I don't know if I'm going to do that just yet. I'd say more often than not, you tend to find people with ginger hair tend to suit slightly warmer colours rather than cooler colours. Now, if you suit warmer colours, that can impact the sort of frames that are going to work for you. So if you think about tortoiseshell frames, or black or brown frames, these sorts of things, then I would err on the side of the warmer side, the more orangey sort of tortoiseshells, rather than the cooler, darker tortoiseshells. That's more likely to complement you than the cooler ones. However, without doing a structured colour analysis, I can't be 100% sure, but that would be my recommendation if I had to give you a general guide. Now, also, what you need to remember is that you've got this hair colour, you've got this skin tone, and you've got all these genetic features in terms of your eye colour, your face shape, etc. But we all have our innate personalities, don't we? So what's going to impact that is whether you want a bolder style or a more understated style. Now that's going to obviously be representative of you, how you feel about that. So a graphic designer is probably going to have a different sort of style to a clinical doctor versus an accountant to an artist or a musician. Now, I'd say try not to box yourself into one pair for everything, because I know for myself, I might wear different pairs on different days to go with different outfits. Other people will be different, and you don't necessarily want to wear your work attire in your casual wear. So I'd say try not to necessarily box yourself down to one pair if you can at all help it. But I'm aware, obviously, money reasons and stuff as well, it can all mount up, can't it? So that's where investing in quality over quantity works better. Anyhow, so we've worked out generally warmer colours are going to be what's going to complement you. If you're looking for that bolder look, then what I would do is I'd go slightly chunkier in the frame and more matte in terms of the colour, or glossy, but certainly a full tone. Whereas if you're wanting something a bit more understated, go a bit more translucent in the frame, okay, or go slightly thinner in the material. Those things are going to impact whether it's a more understated or bolder look. Now, if you're wondering about shape, then this is something that's going to apply to all people, regardless of hair colour. Then I'd say general guides are the top of the frame to follow your brow line. So you tend to find more masculine frames tend to have a slightly flatter brow. You tend to find more gents have slightly flatter brow lines than women. And so therefore the more feminine shapes have a slightly softer brow line, like this. And so following that brow line is going to be what's going to complement you the most naturally. And then the bottom of the frame, opposite your jawline. So if you've got a really nice structured bone structure across there, I'd go slightly softer on the lower rim, and that's going to complement you that little bit more than if you go angles on angles, which can look quite severe and just exacerbate things and make you look a little bit more boxy if that was the case. So Those are the sort of general things to look for. And then obviously on the bridge of the nose, that is where comfort is key. Make sure it is comfortable on the bridge of your nose. If it's a fixed bridge, you want to see no gaps on the top or the sides. You want to see it following really nice and flushly. The frame I'm wearing is a keyhole bridge, so it's designed to have a little gap across the top just there. With the nose pads, obviously we can adjust them, but just have a think about that, because for me, comfort is key. If I want to be wearing my glasses a lot, I want them to feel comfortable. So if I'm going to break this down into the key tips on what glasses suit people with ginger hair, I generally go warmer colours rather than cooler. I would generally go more on the tortoiseshell side of things. Greens work really, really nicely in general. If you're on autumn, then you're going to suit slightly darker, muted warm colours. If you're a spring, then you're going to suit lighter, brighter warm colours. With your personality, if you're looking for understated, go thinner, more translucent. If you're going bolder and you want that sort of like statement look, then I'd go chunkier and increase the contrast against your skin tone to give that bold, exciting look. More tips in the next video on what glasses are going to suit you. See you in the next one.